Good evening and welcome. You're watching the 7 o'clock news on CNC3. I'm Ria Rambali.
I'm Akash Samaru.
I am Jassi Marik with sport.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your weather report.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight. Amid concerns over a tightening of poultry supplies, farmers say extreme heat and water challenges are affecting production, but government assures relief is on the way.
Officials reveal police and soldiers will be on the ground 24 hours a day at new joint security posts, but admit staffing remains undecided.
Serious crime and homicides reportedly down in the Central Division. However, 5 new police posts could strengthen security.
Coming up in sport.
We are presently around the table in discussion with a significant entity in the country.
Amid backlash for plans to exclude Tobago schools, the SSFL is close to finding a financial savior.
The rain is easing, but something else is moving in. I'll tell you about this and more in the full forecast.
The Agriculture Ministry is moving to calm fears over the availability of chicken, saying the current tightening of supply is temporary and not the result of a production crisis.
The ministry says extreme heat has forced some farmers to reduce the number of birds placed on their farms to protect animal welfare and limit losses. The ministry in a statement says chicken remains available, although some consumers may find it harder to purchase their usual quantities at certain retail outlets. The ministry adds that hatchery projections show an increase in chick availability within the next 2 weeks, with supplies expected to gradually return to normal about 3 weeks later. However, the ministry says it will continue to monitor production, imports, and weather conditions while working with industry stakeholders to address the challenges. And the ministry's explanation echoes what the Broiler Growers Association is saying. The issue is less about shortage of chicken and more about how the industry is adapting to record heat.
President of the Broiler Growers Association, Sudesh Ramkisoon, explains that farmers are deliberately reducing the number of birds on farms to manage the heat. He laments this is the hottest part of the year and it would be risky to operate farms at normal capacity. Farms that would normally house 10,000 birds are now housing 7,000 to consider heat management. Ramkisoon says heat stress can lead to losses and poor bird growth. Farmers are also using sprinklers to cool poultry houses, but low water levels and restricted supplies are adding to the challenge. He says the current situation is as a result of prudent planning and not a shortage. The association anticipates production should return to normal as the weather improves. But while industry officials insist this is a temporary supply adjustment, some retailers say the reduced output is already hitting their bottom line and consumers are feeling it at the cash register.
Here's Radhika De Silva and Ivan Tulsi with more.
For some poultry operators, the chicken shortage is becoming a setback.
Right now, some days we had to close, we had to bring out less workers because we're not getting the amount we're supposed to get.
Checks by CNC3 News revealed retail chicken prices have risen from about $5.99 in January to as much as $9.50 per pound in August. With the supplies dropping significantly, Jetta says the birds are smaller in size.
The problem right now is the customers want the bigger sizes of chickens, so we're getting smaller sizes.
Customer Franklin Ramsroop believes the recent heat wave may have affected supply.
They die out quicker because the heat does. When you hold a chicken, it's real hot, you know. So when that heat inside them and the feed, they need breeze. And the amount they have in one shed, 2 fan or 3 fan can't help that.
Owner of St. Mary's Hatchery, Vijay Bhagwat, says the problem starts with the supply of chicks from the United States. He believes disease, poor egg quality, and record heat levels may have contributed to dwindling stocks. But some consumers say there are other options.
There's always other things that you could eat. There's lots of vegetables that you could eat instead of chicken.
With the supplies remaining tight, poultry operators say they are watching the market closely as consumers continue to feel the impact of higher chicken prices. Radhika De Silva, CNC3 News.
And the impact of the tight chicken supply is being felt by some restaurants that now have to adjust how they operate. Yesterday, Pappy's Fried Chicken posted a notice to customers. The company confirmed to CNC3 News it is rationing chicken to keep its branches open, saying the notice was intended to manage customer expectations. Pappy says it is not the first time it has faced a shortage, but the timing is unfortunate, with July and August being a peak sales period. The restaurant says it was told supply should return to normal within 2 weeks. On Monday, the Darul Uloom Halal Council also issued a notice advising members of the Muslim community to verify that chicken is sourced from halal-verified suppliers. However, CEO of Prestige Holdings, Simon Hardy, says KFC and the other restaurants under the company's umbrella have not been affected. He says a strategic partnership with Arawak was developed to avoid situations like these.
In other news, Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander is confirming that the new Joint Police Army posts will operate 24 hours a day. Responding to questions from CNC3 News today, Alexander noted that the number of police and defense force personnel stationed at the posts will be determined by the police commissioner and chief of defense staff. He also clarified that while people may be brought to the post for interviews, they will not be detained there. Alexander's comments come after Diego Martin Central MP Simon de Norberger questioned the government's handling of the project. At a PNM media briefing today, de Norberger stressed the need for transparency.
These questions need to be addressed for the public's knowledge. These are public funds being expended on public works, and there is nothing, to the best of my knowledge, there are two lawyers here that are speaking today, and they can correct me if I am wrong. There is nothing involved in these works that would preclude the minister from divulging this information.
De Norberger says questions about the contractor, cost and procurement process for the construction of the Joint Army and Police posts must be divulged.
Now, while Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara remains tight-lipped on the rollout of the new police posts, a senior police officer says a more detailed update is expected by mid-September.
Senior Superintendent Rudolph Bagwandine says police are still working out how personnel will be assigned to the posts and whether the prefabricated buildings will include cells.
But he confirmed the public will be able to make reports and interact with officers there. The intention is for the posts to operate 24 hours a day, although that plan is still being worked out.
The human resource aspect of it, or the resources for these posts, that is still in the stage of discussion. We haven't had any completion status yet, so that is still in the stage of discussion with the executive of the police service.
Well, he was speaking at the police service's weekly media briefing today.
Bagwandine says the posts are needed, with 4 locations identified in the Central Division: the Couva Interchange, Carlson Field, St. Helena and Felicity. A 5th site at Brentwood Chaguanas has been proposed but is yet to be confirmed.
It was not identified to me where they're going to put the first one or the second one. The stage we have reached is that we have identified the 5 locations in Central Division where they will be most suited to be.
Bagwandine says police selected the locations based on recorded levels of criminal activity over time. Well, today we asked, do you think the authorities have provided the public with enough information about how the new police posts are supposed to function?
Here's what you had to say.
No, they didn't, because a little more explanation is needed as to the purpose of it and the reasons.
I think so, yeah, because the way they're operating is like they want to make sure that people are aware of the police force, what it could do, and it could be a good thing for the public and everybody.
Well, I for one don't have enough information on the police post. All I've been hearing is about the one in Tabidi, Tunapuna? Okay, yeah. The other police post, well, is just, I mean, for the greater good, we would like it, but we need more information.
Not really, you know, but, you know, it's early still.
No, I'm getting no information up to now. I haven't received any information about it because I don't be much online, so I wouldn't know.
They're not giving any information on it. They're not giving any information on the data center. They're not giving any or nothing but lock up.
A man wanted for the murder of a police officer is dead after a shootout with police in Matura. 48-year-old Hassan Johnson was wanted in connection with the July 28th killing of Police Constable Rommel Douglas in Kelly Village. Police say they spotted Johnson at Mora Trace yesterday, but he ran into a nearby forested area and escaped. Officers later surrounded a house where he was believed to be hiding and called on him to surrender. According to police, Johnson opened fire, prompting officers to retaliate. He was shot and taken to the Sangre Grande hospital, where he later died. Police also detained a woman suspected of harboring him.
And police are investigating the disappearance of 3 firearms and ammunition from the Central Police Station in Port of Spain.
Corporate Communications Manager for the Police Service, Joanne Archie, says officers discovered 3 Glock pistols, 3 magazines, and 45 rounds of 9mm ammunition missing around 3:40 a.m. yesterday. The weapons had been handed over by municipal police officers to Central Police on August 10th for safekeeping.
At a media briefing today, Archie said no police officers or civilian staff have been suspended or sent on leave while the investigation continues. She also declined to say whether the disappearance was the result of an administrative error, as previously suggested.
I do not have any update on that information, and it may very well turn out to be administrative. However, I will allow the investigative process to take its course, and we will update the public as it progresses.
The latest incident comes nearly 4 months after firearms and ammunition disappeared from the armory at the San Fernando Municipal Police Station.
Well, still to come in the news, an agreement was signed and a pay increase expected by June or July. But daily rated workers are still waiting, and their union wants answers.
Former Energy Minister Stuart Young welcomes plans for new Point Lisa steel plant, but calls for government to be clear about what's behind the deal.
Coming up in sport, Barbados Tridents survived Andre Russell's onslaught in a tight contest at Sabina Park.
We finally said yes to onion rings. Now it's your turn to say yes to the new KFC onion ring chicken sandwich for $34.95, or get a regular side of rings for just $15. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Welcome back. Daily rated workers are yet to receive their 10% salary bump, and the NUGFW president believes someone has dropped the ball.
In April, the National Union of Government and Federated Workers signed the agreement and were initially told they'd receive the new salaries by June or July. That has not happened. Union President Christopher Street said he was told by the Chief Personnel Officer that the matter is now before the Finance and General Purposes Committee. But Street wants Cabinet to address the issue when it meets tomorrow. He said the money was allocated to pay them in the mid-year review, so it cannot be an issue of funding. The union president said right now his members are disappointed.
Somebody dropped the ball, man. Right? So we're hoping that it escalated to Cabinet. Of course, the workers are not pleased because they were anticipating, but it is what it is, what we will do. We're just hoping that somebody put some pep in their step and get it implemented in the soonest possible time.
The agreement signed by the union covers 2 bargaining periods between 2014 and 2019. The settlement benefits approximately 20,000 daily rated workers, including skilled laborers, tradesmen, and other blue-collar workers.
Street said he will stay on the matter daily until they get what is owed to them. The CPO could not be reached for comments. Laventille West MP Kareem Marcel is calling on the government to immediately appoint a board of directors for the East Port of Spain Development Company. Marcel says it has been almost a year and a half since the company operated without a board. He is now questioning whether the delay signals the government's intention to shut down the company. Marcel also says 12 workers were sent home last week and 12 more contracts weren't renewed this year, leaving the company operating with less than 50% of its regular workforce. He said he was told by workers that management revealed the reason for the job cuts was because the company has not received any government funding to continue its normal operations. Marcel said the former PNM administration allocated $15 million annually to the company. For this new administration, that allocation was cut in half. He said to date, no monies have been released to the company.
This UNC administration is systematically attacking East Port of Spain, and we must stand against it. I call on this UNC administration to appoint its board of directors to the East Port of Spain Development Company to ensure that in the next fiscal that they properly allocate monies.
Well, CNC3 News reached out to Housing Minister David Lee, whose ministry overlooks the company. However, he's yet to respond. As the world celebrates International Youth Day, Marcel also called on Defense Minister Wayne Sturge to reveal the status of the Civilian Conservation Corps program. In March, Sturge said the program would reopen pending cabinet approval of a new proposal. To date, that has not happened. Marcel said programs such as the CCC and MILAT are extremely beneficial to the nation's youth. And Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar says government is committed to investing in the nation's young people.
In an International Youth Day message, she says this includes investing in education, expanding opportunities, and equipping young people with the skills they need to succeed. Persad-Bissessar says young people are the innovators, leaders, and change makers who will shape Trinidad and Tobago's future. She is encouraging them to believe in themselves, dream big, and work towards building a stronger and brighter nation.
Economist Dr. Marlene Atz says the proposed $750 million U.S. revival of the Point Lisa steel plant could provide a significant boost to TNT's economy, but its true value will depend on the lasting benefits it creates. Dr. Atz said the investment could generate jobs, exports, and renewed industrial activity while restoring investor confidence. However, she says TNT must ensure negotiations secure long-term benefits through local employment, technology transfer, opportunities for domestic businesses, and stronger supply chains. Dr. Atz says while the inclusion of vanadium could broaden the country's industrial and export base, the project's success will also depend on reliable, competitively priced natural gas. She says the real measure of success will not be the size of the investment, but the size of its legacy for the country. And economist Professor Roger Hussein says while the revival of the former ArcelorMittal steel plant is commendable, he's concerned about its access to gas. He says while there may be concerns surrounding gas, there will be real economic benefits to employees and fence-line communities in Point Lisas.
One of the things we have to be careful about is the timing of the gas availability that will be used in this steel and vanadium plant. And it seems to be rolling out in a way to coexist with the coming on stream of Manati, which is good. You know, it shows that the policymakers are thinking this thing through and they are planning this thing forward. And the boost will help the local environment. It will help the Point Fortin environment, the wider Trinidad and Tobago economy.
Well, former Energy Minister Stuart Young is welcoming plans to restart the Point Lisa steel plant, but is calling on the government to come clean on the details of the deal. During an opposition media briefing today, Young said the reopening of the Point Lisa steel mill would be a positive development for Trinidad and Tobago. However, he says the public needs to know what exactly has been negotiated before it can determine whether the deal is in the country's best interest. Young also welcomed U.S. support for the project, but stressed that it does not remove the need for transparency.
Where's the natural gas coming from?
How many molecules need to be used? What is the price that is being paid for it? That steel mill was the single largest user of electricity when it was in play. What's the price for electricity you're selling it at? Is it a subsidized price that we, the taxpayers, will carry?
Young is also calling on the new owners to engage the steelworkers trade union, saying the workers kept the plant operating through difficult circumstances.
In tonight's Business Watch, dropping profits in state-controlled companies raises questions from opposition MP Stuart Young about government policies.
Meanwhile, the Caribbean is urged to follow the EU's lead with regard to big tech regulation. Peter Christopher reports.
National Flour Mills has reported a drop in profits for the 6-month period ended June 30th, 2026. Chairman Hamlin Jailal says the company's after-tax profit declined marginally by 2.4% to $22.2 million, despite revenue increasing to $263 million, $3 million over last year's profit of $260 million. He says there was a cost of sales increase of $5.8 million, which was largely due to increases in grain prices. Despite the dip in profits, the NFM chairman says the outlook for the company remains optimistic in 2026. Meanwhile, Angostura has also reported a drop in profits for the half year, with its 6-month profit after tax dropping by $5 million to $62 million. However, Chairman Gary Hunt says this performance was resilient as growth was achieved despite the unprecedented increase in excise duties in the local markets, as he pointed to strong performances in key domestic areas and through its ready-to-drink products. Hunt says Angostura deliberately absorbed a significant portion of taxes instead of passing on the costs to the public. However, former Prime Minister and opposition MP Stuart Young questions if the recent financial performance of state-controlled companies like First Citizens Group and Angostura reflect decisions made by the government.
Banks and insurance companies were saddled with new taxes and an asset-based tax. FCB now, over 10% decline in profitability. Alcohol, saddled with massive increases on tax. Angostura, revenue down, profit down. They don't want focus on that.
Canto C9 Chairman Lisa Agard says the Caribbean's increasing demand has made it imperative that it come together to not only secure needed capacity for data, but also proper returns from big tech companies. Agard, who spoke with Business Watch at the Canto Conference in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, says the Caribbean should model its approach after the European Union, who have taken the lead with big tech regulation to ensure the region gets its fair share.
In a spirit of commercial negotiation, to agree a way in which collectively as an industry we can solve for the critical issues that we are encountering, because that gap between the first world and the third world will only widen, and the last thing we want is for the Caribbean to be left further behind.
And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Christopher, CNC3 Business Watch.
Thank you, Peter. Still to come in the news, residents in Saddle Road, Santa Cruz and parts of East Trinidad were left dealing with power disruptions last night after a large rodent came into contact with the power system.
Up next, the latest on the areas of interest to watch closely over the next several days and more in your Tropical Pulse.
Some moments change everything. Your family's first memories. Comfort isn't just about temperature, it's about feeling your best. Whether you're celebrating the big win or making unforgettable memories, the moments that matter deserve comfort you can trust. That's why thousands choose McQuay by Daikin. And now, every purchase of a McQuay air conditioner helps make a difference. A portion of the proceeds will be donated to the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society. Visit your nearest Schoolmax or Supercool Limited branch or request McQuay from your trusted AC technician.
Big moments call for light refreshment. Viva sparkling flavored water. Zero sugar. Full flavor.
Truth be told, here at GMMB, love is the currency. And let's show you how we are able to transfer that energy into real conversations. It seems to me there's a power in listening. It seems like that is a part of the mandate.
Of course. We need to listen to our clients. We need to hear what they need. We need to hear that they are satisfied, they are loved, they are feeling that GMMB culture.
GMMB.
It's banking for real.
Every day, we're expected to show up for each other, for ourselves. What people don't see is everything that keeps us going. Because staying in the game isn't about one big moment. It's about showing up again and again and again.
Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off. Let me see you rock off, rock off. Let me see you kick right. Now step forward, now step back.
Lucozade, bring the energy.
Rock off,
unbeatable
rock
taste,
off.
new look.
Shake off. Let me see you rock off, rock off.
The heads of judiciaries across 7 Caribbean jurisdictions, including Trinidad and Tobago, are backing the Caribbean Court of Justice amid recent reports involving the court's internal operations.
In a joint statement, they expressed concern over the leak of what appeared to be confidential internal correspondence, but stopped short of commenting on allegations involving individual judges. The judges reaffirmed their confidence in the CCJ, describing it as a vital regional institution, and underscored the need to maintain public trust in the court's independence, integrity, and impartiality. The statement was endorsed by the heads of judiciary in TNT, Jamaica, Guyana, Barbados, the Bahamas, Belize, and the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Courts. Residents of Saddle Road, Santa Cruz, and parts of East Trinidad reported power disruptions last night.
And the cause was, get this, a manicu. The disruptions occurred between 9:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. with social media reports of loud noises, flashes, and repeated power dips. TNT's General Manager Ian Ramratan said the first fault temporarily cut supply before an automatic system restored electricity. About half an hour later, a second fault left some customers without power for just under an hour.
The animal could have remained in the area, and then the second time around, it was, of course, a permanent fault, which, as I said, would have been as a result of the longer outage. But what we found at the time would have been an animal that caused that permanent fault.
When you say animal, what kind of animal? Rat?
Yeah, it's a manicu, to be specific.
Ramratan said animal interference was not unusual on TNT's network, with frogs and snakes also capable of causing faults.
He explained that TNT has measures including animal guards to protect sections of its network, but Ramratan said breaches can occur depending on the location. Well, Sigoni's here with us. Sigoni, we had a few showers, hopefully cooling down the place for us and, well, the chickens. But at least we don't have to deal with anything like Saharan dust, right?
Yes, we do have to deal with Saharan dust, and today's rainy weather actually brought a lot of flooding issues for parts of western Trinidad, mainly central and southern parts of the island. Even at home where my parents were at, we actually got flooded out today. So that's what a little bit of rainfall can do in a very short space of time, and you have to get used to that as we go through this wet season. So let's take a look at that forecast, because dust is on the way. Akash already selling out my forecast. But here's what's happening as we tap into our tropical pulse this evening. First things, we are looking out for areas of interest in the Atlantic. We've already been tracking this tropical wave since Monday, and now what we're seeing is that it does still have a high chance of developing. And I'm sure you're noticing that we have a name at the top here. Right, Cristobal, our third named storm for the Atlantic hurricane season, developed earlier today, and that system will push over into Europe, bringing them some much needed rainfall in the days ahead. For us, however, we're monitoring this particular area, and it's not just one but two areas to watch. Our first tropical wave moving into the the area closer into the Lesser Antilles into this weekend ahead, and then another tropical wave just behind. The first wave, the leading wave, does have a high chance of developing. The one just behind that off the Cabo Verde Islands, now at a medium chance of developing into a system. If it does develop, areas of interest to watch here with a medium risk where we have rainfall activity will be the Leeward Islands, and also interest in Puerto Rico over the weekend ahead. For Trinidad and Tobago, not so much impacted by this particular area. At this time, we have no watches or warnings in effect for it, but we're still monitoring this rainmaker, whether it develops or not. If it does, it will take the next name on the Atlantic hurricane season list, which is going to be Dolly. If the second one develops, we could see Edward as well developing. So only time will tell what the weather will bring. What we know in the short term for right now, Trinidad and Tobago, after some wickedly wet weather across western and northern portions of the island, it is all beginning to settle down and clear out. Still looking out for 1 or 2 quick passing showers as the evening progresses, and temperatures will continue to run quite warm across the island. So pay attention, because even into tomorrow's forecast, the warmth and the heat returns to the general area, as well as this a massive band of Saharan dust haze that's really just inching across and ready to make its way into the general area as well, with that tropical wave just behind that. So we could see an increase in Saharan dust haze, a lot of issues coming into play here where your health could be in the picture, and you want to pay attention to that as we go through the forecast. Slight to moderate concentrations of haze will pick up as we go into the next few hours, and with it a lot of sunshine, heat and warmth. But we could also see showers and thunderstorms in the forecast as well, as our temperatures warm up throughout the day. So pay attention and have the umbrellas on hand. If you're heading offshore, conditions will be running slight to moderate here. Not a big change except for our winds increasing, and with it our waves increasing as well. And with that, spring tide, yeah, it's still very much in effect at this time. So you still have to exercise caution if you're heading offshore, and if you're on land, pretty much have your relievers, inhalers, and umbrellas in this forecast.
Good advice. Thank you so much, Sigoni. Let's tell you what's still to come in the news. A village built on coconut, copra, and fishing is struggling to find its next chapter, and residents of Rampanalga say they know what it needs.
The biggest party in sport is back. Catch every TKR March live and exclusively on CNC3, August 7th through September 20th. You don't want to miss the action. The Republic Bank CPL 2026, only on CNC3. Passion, energy, and cricket live here. Brought to you by
Need to open a bank account? There's no time to make the drive to stand in line. Get ready. Opening an account with Republic On Board is easy, from anywhere at any time, even while waiting for a food order. So you don't have to skip lunch. Republic On Board. Fast, easy, secure. Visit www.republiconboard.com to open your account today.
Ever wonder how the way you start your day can make all the difference? Tired of waking up struggling with congestion? Without Neomed Sinus Rinse, you are likely to battle with nasal congestion, impacting energy levels and overall well-being. The choice is clear. A great morning starts with Neomed Sinus Rinse. Now I can't imagine starting my day without it. All natural sinus relief.
And so I tell them never ever worry if your nice car get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. Always consider Tatil is always right here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
As powerboat enthusiasts seek various vantage points to enjoy the annual Great Race on Saturday, one man will be looking on from the comfort of his home, or rather in the sea.
Stefan Nicholas brings us this story.
In July-August, thousands flock to Store Bay for some fun and relaxation.
touts at the entrance selling tours to Buccoo Reef is customary, as well as tourists lounging on the big chairs, taking in the sun, sea and sand. But yesterday, when this floating house arrived in Storbay was abuzz with curiosity. CNC3 News plans to knock on the door to see who shows up. We took the short ride on a pirogue to the vessel and spoke to the owner, who declined an on-camera interview. He told CNC3 News the house is fully solar-powered with 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. The barge, which the 2-story unit sits on, was acquired 4 years ago and was redone in aluminum to prevent rust and corrosion. The owner said the vessel took over 10 hours on its journey from Trinidad to Tobago, capitalizing on a window with favorable sea conditions. Since its arrival, beachgoers have been marveling at the structure.
It's like a home in the sea. I always look at the foreign shows and I normally see it, but reality hit us straight on our face. So I think it's something fantastic.
One U.S. visitor originally from Trinidad said she has seen similar floating homes in Amsterdam and other places, but never a 2-story.
We love how it's pulling up to Buccoo Reef, and we were all wondering about the price, how to visit it, if we can go inside, if we could see what's happening. We took videos. It's beautiful seeing it on the beach as a tourist.
Despite numerous requests for rental, the boat's owner insists the vessel is not commercial. He added docking at Storbay was simply to gain a vantage point to watch the speedboats on Saturday in the Great Race. Stefan Nicholas, CNC3 News.
Very cool. He has the best view for sure.
I want to rent it.
I think all Trinis would love to rent it. Well, it's now time to hand you over to Jassy, who's standing by with a sneak peek at sport. And Jassy, the young Red Force Divas can do no wrong at this moment.
Yeah, I would hate to actually jinx them, but they do look like champions in the making as Ramnath rallies her troops to a 4 straight wins at the Under-19 Rising Stars Championship. And our regional neighbors, Jamaica, are in the spotlight for the good and the bad. I'll explain after the break.
Invest in every innings. Is this the best match of the season? Yes, it is. With the Unitrust Corporation on your team, it's the best match every season. Stop settling for less. Access the best performing funds on the market with the highest income fund rates in the industry with UTC on your side and its 44 years of investment experience. You won't just support the winning team, you'll be part of one. Visit the nearest investment center, agency, or ttutc.com to sign up today.
Textbooks, screens, late nights. Your eyes work hard through every class, exam, project, and deadline. Ferrara Optical has eyewear specifically designed to reduce eye strain so nothing holds your learning back. For a limited time, youth get a free frame with lenses from just $495. Scholars get frame and lenses starting at only $750. And lifelong learners save up to 30% off your purchase of advanced lenses like Eisen and Transitions. Less strain, more focus. Your vision without limits. Visit Ferrara Optical in store today. This promotion is NLCB approved.
Hit the heat with 6. Cold, pure refreshment every over.
Big moments call for light refreshment. Viva sparkling flavored water. 0 sugar, full flavor.
Welcome back. As the new secondary school's football season looms, a major dispute continues to divide 2 islands. At the heart of the matter, the league's continued lack of sufficient financial support to facilitate travel for teams between Trinidad and Tobago. Rajiv Surat Singh has the latest on this story.
From the Tobago House of Assembly is the latest response to a secondary schools football league decision to exclude Tobago's 4 duly qualified teams from the National Boys Premiership Division for the upcoming SSFL season. This after the SSFL voted to implement a proposal from the North Zone to corral Trinidad's 15 teams into one league separate from Tobago's 4 teams, before coming into a national Big Four involving 2 teams from each island.
They have a great concern, and I could understand that, and possibly me also, members living in Tobago too. the citizens there, that there is a feeling that Tobago would not get a fair share of the level of football. But this is what we had discussed and agreed on, of which all 5 zones were aware of when we had the meeting and discussion and the vote.
The separation of the schools is the SSFL's solution to last season's incomplete schedule of fixtures across several competitions, almost all of which resulted from issues surrounding travel to or from Tobago. This, Gonzalez says, is one of the continued residual effects from the loss of support from Sportsmax, Digicel and NGC.
One of the things that we have discovered for the upcoming 2026 season is that the finance that we would usually have to absorb the expenses of the season is not as welcoming as it should be.
However, a potential lifeline has emerged, with the SSFL president telling Guardian Media Sport that an unnamed entity is prepared to fund the operation, paving the way for Tobago schools to return.
We are presently around the table in discussion with a significant entity in the country, and the intention is to forego the Trinidad and the Tobago schools separate and either revert to the one group of 17 teams or the 2 groups where you'll have one group with 9, one group with 8, and the 2 teams from Tobago, which in this case will be Speyside and Signal Hill. They will each be placed in a group each.
Gonzalez says once funding is secured, the SSFL's current position of separating Trinidad from Tobago's schools will be abandoned and members will be asked to vote on the 2 other options. Rajiv Surat Singh, CNC3 Sport.
To cricket now, patrons got their money's worth on the much-anticipated return of Caribbean Premier League cricket to Sabina Park, Jamaica on Tuesday night. However, rather than celebrating with a win, the newest franchise, the Jamaica Kingsmen, came up agonizingly short. Upon the CPL's welcome back to Jamaica, the Barbados Tridents were sent into bat and flew out of the gates, courtesy homeboy Brandon King and Barbadian youngster Zachary Carter. Carter rushed to 27 from 15 with 4 fours and a 6, but was caught out right on the ropes, the Tridents 40 for 1. Quinton de Kock came next and, after finding his range, teed off at Sabina Park with a quick-fire 42 from 25, including 3 sixes and 2 boundaries. But his stay ended when he was caught and bowled by Hassan Khan, 112 for 2. A 93-run stand for the 3rd wicket saw King get to a half-century on his home ground, while his partner Sherfane Rutherford was also in a hurry to get to the same milestone. Rutherford was not out on 50 while King was out on 73, the Tridents closing on 206 for 3 from 20 overs. The Kingsmen started disastrously. Shayan Jangir gone for none. They had 7 on the board when Reza Hendricks chopped on in the same over. And they were 8 for 3 when Daniel Sims sent back Kirk McKenzie, also for naught. Former Tridents captain Rovman Powell made it his duty to give his countrymen a show in a 50-run partnership with Casey Carty. However, Powell's departure on 38 from 24 with Jamaica on 58 instigated more problems. Can followed for a 2-ball duck. The Kingsmen 4 down for 60 runs.
There is some power.
At that juncture, another man with a point to prove was Andre Russell, back with his home franchise. His hard hitting spurred Casey Carty into life as they put on a 72-run partnership. Carty's dismissal on 45 with the score on 132 gave Sams a 3rd wicket, while Kimo Paul's first ball duck gave the Australian his 4th. Russell, however, found company from schoolboy Vital Laws on CPL debut, whose 6 hitting was Superman approved. Together, they reduced the equation to 50 needed from the last over, but Russell was out for 68, trying to end things in style. Taken! And when Laws was run out from the very next ball, the Kingsmen were doomed. They ended up stranded on 201 for 9, a heartbreaking loss to the Tridents by 5 runs.
And they have lost it.
Close one indeed. Now to one of our latest CPL supplements, the shot of the day. But on a night when hometown hero Andre Russell lit up Sabina Park with 9 sixes, it was hard to choose just one.
There is some power. We got the full follow through there.
And now to the catch of the day, a timely intervention to stop a Bajan behemoth from building momentum.
Now that's gone straight to the field at this time. Pinpoint accuracy. Needed elevation, didn't get it, and he's gone. Late strike. Kingsmen celebrate.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago's under-19 women cricketers are on fire at the CWI Rising Stars tournament, cruising past the Leeward Islands by 8 wickets today. Rajiv Suratsing has more.
Trinidad and Tobago's under-19 women are continuing to turn heads at the Cricket West Indies Rising Stars Championship in Antigua. And today, they made it 4 wins on the spin. The Young Red Force Divas produced another dominant display, dismissing the Leeward Islands for just 50 in 16.2 overs before chasing down their target for the loss of just 2 wickets. It was another day of disciplined bowling from TNT, spearheaded by skipper Samara Ramnath. Ramnath claimed a big 4 wickets for just 3 runs from 2.2 overs, taking her to a tournament-leading 15. Teammate Brianna Haricharan moved to 9 in the competition with 3 for 15 against the Leewards. With just 51 needed for victory, Ramnath and Amrita Ramtahal got the chase off to a brisk start before Ramnath was dismissed for 7. Ramtahal top scored with 17 not out from 30 balls, including 3 fours, while Saraya Kawal Singh was dismissed for 7 from 21. Haricharan finished the job with 1 boundary during her knock of 6 of 6. TNT reached 52 for 2 in just 13.2 overs, an 8-wicket victory with 40 balls to spare. The Young Divas remain unbeaten heading into their final round-robin match against an also unbeaten Barbados on Friday, which could be a prelude to the final on Sunday. Rajiv Suratsing, CNC3 Sport.
All right, now let's take a look at what's happening in sport around the region.
Jamaica's government and its Football Federation have signed guarantee agreements for the 2031 FIFA Women's World Cup. Sports Minister Olivia Grange and JFF President Michael Ricketts signed the agreements in Kingston on Tuesday, formalizing Jamaica's hosting obligations. Jamaica will join the United States, Costa Rica, and Mexico as co-host, with the island set to stage 3 to 5 group stage matches and 1 round of 32 fixture. Meanwhile, the certification of the Jamaica National Stadium's athletics track is facing questions. Opposition spokesperson on Labour and Sports, Wavell Hines, is calling on Minister Olivia Grange to produce the certificate after the stadium was not included on World Athletics' official list of 116 certified Class 1 facilities published on August 7th. Hines says this contradicts Grange's June statement that the certification was already in hand. He is now demanding the certification date, number, validity period, and an explanation for the absence from the World Athletics list. Samaki Felician, CNC3 Sport.
Italy's Nadia Battocletti strides away with tonight's Sport High.
Nadia Battocletti defended her women's 5,000-meter European Championship title on Tuesday in style, conserving energy while sticking with the pack most of the way. The turning point came with 200 meters to go, when, in the words of 2024 TNT Carifta Games champ Christopher Sammy, Battocletti decided to bust it on the last lap. Bold, braggadocious. Battocletti earns tonight's CNC3's Sport High.
Yeah, and it's just about time for me to bust it as well.
That's right. Thank you so much, Jesse. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have the
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hi, the pool is this way.
whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Trinray's star player, whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Trinray's risen to become a true force to be reckoned with. With an unbeaten Carry A rating, they boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Trinray's financial and technical strength at its best.
Trinray, premier insurance coverage for less.
Well, each year on August 12th, National Middle Child Day honors that in-between child in the family.
But if you have a child that falls in that unique position and at times may feel left out or forgotten, today it's all about them.
Wellness Wednesday, brought to you by BioStrand. Get what you need naturally.
Today we recognize the sibling in the middle. Traditionally, many believe birth order plays a pivotal role in the personalities of children. For example, the middle child syndrome describes the firstborn as the leader, and the youngest one earns the title of the baby of the family. Therefore, the middle child's role remains undefined. This lack of definition does not automatically cause health problems. However, some research suggests that birth order can be associated with differences in mental and emotional well-being. The Cleveland Clinic study of children found that middle-born children had the lowest happiness scores compared with first and last-born children. The Cleveland Clinic also explains that birth order may influence personality and behavior, but it is not a medical or psychological diagnosis, and factors such as genetics, parenting, and environment are also important. But some middle children may experience emotional effects, such as feeling overlooked, less noticed, or caught between older and younger siblings. So here are some tips to make your middle child feel loved and included. Make their favorite homemade meal. Share a memory of them. Be sure the memory is of the middle child only. Call your middle child to find out about their day. This is especially important if you don't usually call. Take a walk with your middle child or do one of their favorite activities with just that child. If you have a middle child, celebrate that unique position in the family as much as you celebrate the others. Janelle Bernard, CNC3 News.
Wellness Wednesday, brought to you by BioStrand. Get what you need naturally.
Bet you can't relate, Akash.
Not at all. Right. Thank you very much for that, Janelle. Let's take a break.
If you could see what the future holds, you'd see that while things change, you've still got it. You are strong, resilient, inspiring, and you won't be defined by time. You'll own every minute of it because you were made for more. Discover how Alive multivitamins by Nature's Way help you age vibrantly.
Two teams, one explosive showdown on the best television station. The Trinbago Knight Riders face the Jamaica Kingsmen this Saturday, August 15th, in another massive Republic Bank CPL T20 clash. Join us from 7:30 p.m. for the live pre-show. Then catch every boundary, wicket, and big moments live and exclusive on CNC3 and CNC3Live.com from 8 p.m. Watch the Trinbago Knight Riders versus Jamaica Kingsmen only on CNC3 and CNC3Live.com. Cricket lives here.
For generations, the village of Rampanalgas in northeast Trinidad was sustained by coconut, copra and fishing. But as the traditional economy declined, so too did many of the opportunities that once kept families in the community.
Today, residents are calling for agriculture, infrastructure and employment to breathe new life into the village. Otto Carrington takes us into Rampanalgas through the memories of one of its longtime residents.
Rampanalgas sits along Trinidad's northeastern coast, part of the communities stretching through Balandra, Toco and beyond. The wider Toco region has a long history of indigenous settlements, agriculture and fishing, while Rampanalgas itself became closely associated with the coconut economy and coastal livelihoods. For resident Edward Mahadio, there's no history book quite like memory. And for almost 7 decades, he watched the village change. The cocoa estate was at the center of village life. Residents climbed, picked, cracked and gathered coconuts. The nuts were then transported to the copra house for drying. But as the traditional estate economy changed, residents looked toward new opportunities. And one of the biggest promises came through tourism.
We had a coconut estate. It's hundreds of acres, right? That was Balandra Beach Resort, the Balandra Estate. What I know from small going to school, because the Rampanalgas school is right there, we used to walk up the road. My grandparents, my colleagues, family, the only form of employment here was estate.
Community storytelling has kept the meaning of Rampanalgas alive. Mahadio says elders offered 2 explanations for the name, which comes from a Spanish expression meaning fall on your backside, one involving a horse rider and another involving workers handling cotton.
Some man was riding a horse. There was 2 vertical, and when he was coming up a hill behind the center, he fall off the horse and he fall on the bottom. So they say Rumpanaga. And that's how here got the name. Right. And then they say down here was a cotton field, and there was 2 thin cotton coming up the hill, and somebody slide and fall along there again. So I don't know which one was to be. But they say the meaning of Rampanaga, the Spanish name, fall on your bottom.
But Rampanalgas' history is not only about what was lost. Mahadio worries that some of the community infrastructure that once brought residents together is disappearing.
I'm hoping and wishing God could work out something and bring back these 30 people to work. I don't, yeah, Tobago still had a CPEP, but don't know why it is or what reason Trinidad they cut off everything. But that was a real hope. Right now, everything that's, according to the long time people, everything turned old man snow.
Rampanalgas' history was built on the land and the sea, but residents like Edward Mahadio believe its future will depend on whether those same resources can once again be turned into sustainable jobs and opportunities. For now, the village remains a reminder of what rural communities can build and what can happen when the economic foundations supporting them disappear. Otto Carrington, CNC3 News.
Well, ahead of Independence Day, we ventured across the country asking citizens, what does Trinidad and Tobago mean to you?
Every night, we'll be bringing you one patriotic response. Here's what one person had to say.
TNT to me is home, and I can appreciate it more even when I travel and you get to miss all the things that make here home, the culture. Yeah, TNT is home.
TNT is home, and home is where the heart is.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how we end our 7 o'clock news this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ria Rambly.
I'm Akash Samaru.
I am Jassi Marik.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed. Have a good night.
You're watching CNC3.
There is shock and concern in East London this evening after the suspected murder of Edward Schaffer. Mr. Schaffer, who was found dead after falling from the balcony of his third-floor flat, was the proprietor of a popular children's dance academy. Earlier today, police were called to an incident at the dance academy when Mr. Schaffer's vehicle was vandalized. Mr. Schaffer was later arrested in connection with an inquiry into an historic child rape. However, he was released